Alright, so today's video, we are watching a Plat 5 Ramattra, Orisa, Doomfist, Diva, Sigma, and Zarya on PC. Quite the hero pool right there you got, huh? This game was the longest game I ever played. I have never played 6 rounds. I didn't even know it was possible. After the first 2 rounds, we had 1 minute more time, but on the enemy's attack, they were able to push it all the way to 3rd point. So when we attacked, we thought we could only draw. Some tips on how to improve would be appreciated. I was easily playing in Plat 1 lobbies last season, but now I can just not get higher than Plat 4. It's actually interesting you bring that up, that you only thought you could draw, because I've actually, and I don't know if this is the case, but I've had people tell me that in their bronze games, they've had people leave the game after it's like 6-6 because they think the game is over. So it will get to 6v6 and then people just leave because they think that you can only draw and that's it. They just leave the game. They're just like, all right, well, that's it. Like, the game's over. Like, Junkertown is an undrawable map unless you cap the point after, like, it's undrawable in the sense that, like, it can be drawn, but it has to be, like, a perfect sequence. Does that make sense? All right, let's see why this is a 35-minute Junkertown. Absolute classic. Ramattra's not bad on first tier. Junkertown's actually, maybe it's a hot take, but I think the map's gotten a lot better since they made these changes to the map. Like, a lot better. Alright, just watching. Wait for it. Alright, nothing's really happening so far. You're kind of, you know, it's okay to hold there if you're gonna run the Ramattra comp. You're playing okay. So far, it's okay. You said the full commit for the Venomine? You gotta go for the Venomine. Everybody knows this by now. Heck, you gotta go for the Pylon too. You are playing aggro. I mean, as long as you disengage out back right, you're fine. Like it just... Also, I think you put the I need healing right there. I do want to point out also, like, sometimes you gotta look at the spot you're at. You can't expect your teammates to heal you if you're in their spawn behind a wall, right? I'm not saying that, like, you did that because of that, but... You know, I'm sure your supports are going to love you if you're 27 feet behind walls in their spawn and asking for heals. Oh, yeah, way overcommitted. Way over. Just remember, unless it's like Zenyatta or maybe you get armor packed before, your supports cannot heal you through walls. All right? Do I like the first point rework? I do. I do. Okay. Good play so far, but if you overcommit to this, you're going to get rolled. Wonderful. Okay. So, I mean, we're already 3 minutes in, and I can tell this is going to be a doozy with, like, some of like your positioning. You need to be very, very careful of, like, when you're making plays like that, you need to start thinking about, okay, why am I making this play? What is, like, the goal of what I'm doing? And you got to their back line, and then you were close to your ultimate, but you also, once again, line of sight it. And then you're just making it impossible for your supports to be able to heal you. So you have to be really careful of those type of plays, you know what I mean? You have to be super careful right there. All right, here we go.
They're pushing the payload. Cut them off.
Let's go. Okay, I need to see where this goes. This is... It ended up working out. I think my only concern is, like, what the? My only concern was that when you, like, took this route over here, and then you went up here, then you went down here, you once again are not playing in line of sight of, like, your supports. That's why it's always important as a tank to look at where your supports are playing to understand if they can heal you. Now, listen, I know I just want to kind of get you in the habit of like good position on this one. I know that you survive this, and I will make this mistake on tank a lot. Just try your best to see where your supports are at, because they won't be able to heal you at certain points. Am I in the wrong for asking for some heals? There's zero context to that question. And what's the situation? Like, you didn't give context to asking for heals? You just said, is it bad to? I mean, I don't know. It depends on the situation. I want to think of a good way to explain this, because I feel like, and you're going to fall over here in a second. Okay. So we're going to pause because I'm not sure. Supports might love this whole discussion here. There's this thing where, like, you ever, like, play tank, and then you kind of have this play style, right? Where you play really aggressive, and then your support gets picked off early, and then you get frustrated that your support gets picked off early. And you're like, why are you getting picked off early, right? You're going, okay, but what if I told you that sometimes your support is dying early because of how you're playing? And what I mean by that, your kill feed shows the support falling over. Okay, that's the first step to that. But in reality, what's happened is your position is so bad, and I'm not saying your position in there was awful, but it wasn't good at the same time, that your supports have to go out of position to try to heal you, and then in doing so, they're now vulnerable to all of the DPS that can see them running to try to keep you healed, and then they fall over, and then you're mad at your support for dying. Now, I'm not saying you did this. This is more of like just like a general thing that happens. But like sometimes that's what happens, is that you go so out of position that your supports who want to play a safe sight line have two options: let you die, or go into a sight line that can heal you, but then results in them getting picked off early because they are trying to heal you, right? So sometimes that can happen. That's also why when I watch a support point of view, when I go, sometimes you just, if your teammate decides they want to be out of position over and over again, that's on them. I'm not saying that's all the time. Sometimes supports will have bad position and get picked off, but sometimes your position as a tank can also lead to that. Something I've thought of doing, and I'm not going to promise this because I don't want to, but I've thought of maybe if there isn't like aggressive changes to tank going into season 10, that maybe it's time for like an updated like tank guide to show the new style of tanking for now, because I think that might also be helpful for people, because I think right now there's this like a lot of tanks are like, including myself, are getting like super lost half the time with the new style where like you want to tank but then you can't tank because like you're taking too much damage, but then it's like, how do you find that value to be able to help your teammates with why you take that much damage? So I feel like maybe it's time for like a new tank guide. All right, here we go. On to Orisa. Orisa's not a bad pick. I mean, it's so funny because I feel like Orisa's been... I talked about this yesterday, and it's such an interesting... Okay, and this is going to be... I don't know, is anecdotal the correct way to explain this? But I'm going to ask chat this question. Also, your position is, again, you're spinning in circles, you're running all over the place, like, that is bad positioning. Do you find that the most requested tank in your rank games is Orisa? Because I feel like whenever I'm streaming, whenever I'm seeing this stuff, people always are asking for Orisa. No? Okay, so it's not Orisa. Okay. I see people going like, hey, go Orisa. Go Orisa. Because I was just wondering on that one, because Orisa also has one of the worst win rates, which is why Orisa is constantly buffed. So I always found it interesting that people want people to go Orisa, even though Orisa actually loses more games than wins games. Even though Orisa's good, it's just like, what's the exact reason behind having your teammate go Orisa all the time? But that makes sense that you're seeing more Sigma Zarya, which is, once again, that's also interesting. Zarya especially, yeah, I don't know. Remember, by the way, when it comes to tanking, just to point out, because I always talk about this, I know that counter swapping is a thing that exists within tanks, but I still feel like sometimes the counter swaps might be too aggressive by people. Like, they automatically think that you need to counter swap the other tank, but in reality, it's about figuring out what the actual main issue is and then going from there. Rather than just like, oh, they have this tank, go there. Like, oh, they have an Orisa right now, go Zarya. Like, if I went Zarya right now, I'd get nothing done against this comp. I'd get 0 done. I'd be playing Junkertown as Zarya. I'm not saying you can't make it work. People are like, oh, I played Junkertown the other day as Zarya, popped off. Yes, there's gonna be times. I mean, I played Winston and made it work. I'm like a map that I should have played Winston on, right? But the point I'm making is like, people are like, oh, you gotta go Zarya now. Look, nope, they have an Orisa, you go Zarya. So I go Zarya, and then I get rolled, and like, well, what are you doing? There's an Orisa, you should shred the Orisa. Yeah, but there's 5 people in this game. I can't worry about just the Orisa. You can. I mean, if the Orisa just stands there and is like, hello, I like this damage you're doing to me. Let me just stand here. That's different. Oh yeah, the Orisa, yeah, definitely a lot of Orisa's cooldown spam, but this is also because they lost map control. I do this sometimes in Orisa too, where like you lose map control, and then you just start hitting buttons because you don't know what to do. I want to show you something. Playing corners. Like, playing here is going to be so much more beneficial to your team rather than just running around in circles right here. Like, whee! You know what I mean? So, like, play corners. Like play here. You've now created an angle that you know they're not here. You don't see them. They're up top left, so they lose this ability to get you. They can only see you at this angle, and now your teammates can keep you alive. But if you're like, hello, let me maximize the damage you have to do, then they're forced to use nano on you because you're out of position. Remember that. Play those corners. You hear it a lot, but maybe I gotta showcase it more online on that. Oh, heck yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it. Let's go. Did you barely play tank anymore? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if less people are playing tank right now just because they're not enjoying the full tank experience. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, I've talked about it a little bit where, like, I've actually enjoyed Season 9, and that comes as a tank player. I'm hoping that also means that the tank improvements will come with time, and they'll find ways to make tank, you know. I feel like even if tank got to the level of, like, where support's at this season, that would still be a good direction. You know what I mean? That would still leave DPS as like a very strong hero or a very strong role, and it would still make DPS still viable. I mean, tank way more viable. You know what I'm saying? Ah, I love this one. This is this right here, and I'll explain why I'm laughing. This point of view of Orisa is like one of my favorite experiences. They have an Orisa, they go by you, you don't know what to do, you turn around, you shoot a gold Orisa, and you go, wow, this is great. Wow, what a treat. One thing I have learned, and I'm not saying do this all the time, it's very situational, but if their Orisa has full HP, just go for their backline. I had to learn that through scrims, because like I would do that, I'd shoot at the gold Orisa, and I'd be like, I'm doing nothing. Like I accomplished nothing there except shoot a gold Orisa. It doesn't mean you can't shoot the Orisa, it's situational in the sense that like, let's say that your teammates get Orisa to 30% HP, yeah, shoot the gold Orisa. But I've also learned that like, that was my point of view in scrims, and I had to make that adjustment because I was doing nothing. I would just look at a gold Orisa and be like, hey, I'm shooting at them. Like, yeah, what am I doing? I'm doing 4 damage to the Orisa. I think I'm healing them as I shoot them. Tough start, but the good news is you're playing apparently Mystery Hero, so we get to see some Doomfist. Okay, so now you're on Doomfist, which is an interesting pick on first. That's gonna, yeah, be careful of your punch. You can just stop your punch at a certain point. You don't have to commit to a punch, by the way, if like it's gonna get nothing. Otherwise, that's what happens right there. Like you had no reason to punch into that room. Now you have no escape. Oh, D.Va now. That was quick. That was quick. I mean, I do like the pick for the Junkrat top right. That gives your teammates opportunity. It's not the worst pick. You can get map control. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too bad. Nice. Maybe that's why we need to do like a new tank guide. It's been over a year since like, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea. But that would be a video I need to take time on. Like that's not gonna be like I just like come up with some random ideas and then do it. I need to take a little bit of time on that. So, and this part of the map, by the way, worry about the right side. No. Worry about, okay, so this is, that right there, by the way, was just, whether or not you get a limb on this Hanzo, like, if you see 3 people run by you and there's a Junkrat right to your right, you have a free limb. You have a legitimately free limb. In that situation, you want to go kill that Junkrat, you cannot peel that side at that point. This is like one of those situations where, like, you see them, but you need to think about the distance between those heroes there. You're not going to get there in time, so just go kill a Junkrat. Did you solo queue? I mean, I solo queue quite a bit, too. Yeah, solo queue can be tough, for sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, solo queue, it's going to be a bit more random. I mean, like, I feel like solo queue in top 100 could be a little bit different of an experience just because you play with a lot of the same players. So you kind of develop that, like, you kind of know what to expect, a little bit more teamwork, etc. But yeah, I mean, I imagine like gold where you're probably playing against a new lobby every single time. Like it can be an experience, right? That's also why I'm looking forward to next season. I think it's like a super underrated change, and we'll talk about that during the react video I'm gonna do. But like, good target there, going for him. Good job getting away from the Orisa. Orisa's one shot now, kill Orisa because they just use other cooldowns. DM the heals. Remember, you can defense matrix heals if you need to. I feel like being able to play with any rank now will be fun for a lot of people. Because you can just play with any rank, any friends. It's a lot easier to... It's a lot easier to... You know what I mean? Like, Kart, by the way. You can just sat on Kart and you would have had Kart by now. Sometimes it's okay to, like, go for the tire there, but also just be wary that if you sit in the cart, you get the point. Now, you had to use 1 extra ultimate, when in reality, you didn't have to do any of that. So, maybe 2 extra ultimates. We'll see what happens with this ult. Good ult location. Good job. Can't believe you were able to get 3 mech in front of the Orisa. Kill the Ana next. Kill the... Or not the Ana, the Yari. And then good to go. Kill the pylon. Yep. Good job. Nice. Not bad. But keep in mind, that's why you just don't... When they tired that, you could have sat on cart. You would have had cart. All right, not bad. Taking the high ground control. Target focus has been decent. I can't believe you got out there with your suit. We'll take that. I would have liked you to turn around a little bit sooner for DM, but you know what? It worked. It worked. Nice play. Okay, not bad. A little bit overextension here. Be careful. I want you to be wary of something. Recognize when you've overextended a little bit. I know you went for that pop shot right at the end there, but, like, be careful of that in general. Nice job so far here in Diva. Well, whenever I, like, go anywhere for a few days, Sully gets mad. Like, he'll give me a talking to when I like come back. Like, he will meow up a storm. He'll be like, I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. Been playing a good Diva here, though, out of all the heroes. That's what he does, though. That's what Sully does. Did he start being very vocal, too? He's 6 months old now. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you're going to be having a blast. Yeah, yeah. This better not work. Yeah, okay. Listen, I know that you've probably seen some cool plays that involve a Diva ult in a remake, and I respect those, but, like, that was about as obvious of a play as it was going to be ever. And that starts with you just don't overextend and feed. There's just no reason to have to do that. Like, you're in a good spot with your team. You have map control. So, like, there's no reason to just overextend in their spawn. You can't go for these plays because it's a very obvious play. And, like, listen, let's say that this pole right here didn't exist. Great play. Let's just pretend it didn't exist. I'd be like, that was amazing. But because of that, they're gonna hide behind that, and then you went right up to them. And, like, they looked at you like, hello, baby diva. How are you? It just keep in mind, when you have these advantages going for your team, don't go and throw away that advantage. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, so far so good. Not a bad idea, taking bottom left here. You saw the mortar behind you, by the way. Oh, no, in front of you. My bad. I thought they faded, like, next to you, but they did not. I missed that one. Baby Diva is probably your next target. If you can, yeah. This is good. Now, this is where the aggression makes sense, right? You're up in numbers. You can get the map control. You're eating the orb. Like, this is all good right there. That is a good way to go about Diva there. The other way, not so much. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Nice. Good mail. All right, not bad. I mean, overall, you played a fairly decent Diva. My major concern was that you just played a little bit too aggro sometimes, and, like, when you didn't need to. But at the same time, that's tanking for you. I think tanking's in a spot now where I think tanks find themselves feeding more often now, because you run into this issue where if you take too much chip damage, you get nothing done. If you don't do anything, you get nothing done. So you try to do something, and then you still get nothing done. On to Sigma now. Sigma's really good in this map. I really do like the Sigma map, Sigma pick here, in my opinion. I like the Sigma pick here.
Return to me.
Yep, Brock. Wow, that was certainly a decision by their Reaper. That was Hello, let me teleport in front of your whole team. Wow. Oh, I'm back in spawn. Thank you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Out of position again. Remember, line of sight. Now, I know your Ana's right here, but you're not. This is not. Look at this. This is not an easy heal for your Ana. Stop overextending behind this wall. If you're playing Junkertown, do not overextend right here. This is asking to go back to spawn. Right here. Do not go there. Same thing happened on the first round, too. You gotta work in that position. That is the out of line of sight. Don't turn your back to their whole team when you do that. The shield there is fine, but like you need to put a better shield when you do that, and you need to do that sooner. Now you're gonna be going back to spawn again, probably. Oh wow, that Reaper really knows how to spam all their cooldowns right in front of the team. The Bastion tried to use their movement ability to go high ground, but forgot that it did damage to themselves. You love to see it. I was wondering, I'm like, did they... Yeah! Ah! You do that with Farah sometimes? Oh, imagine if you could still do that with Junkrat. Yep, Rock. Wait a second. Wait a second. Don't get Javelin during this ult. I know you want to do it. Okay, or just... The classic don't get anybody in the Sigma ult. We know that way too well. Or we know that very well. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying words. Here we go. You're on the Orisa. Put your shield up in a second to block the Ana. Nice. Good job. Yeah, you can't do anything here. You had the opportunity to maybe kill one of them, but like I'm not even gonna be mad at that because your team, you already lost that one. Listen, my fluxes will either be the best fluxes ever, or they'll miss by a mile. There's no in between, okay? All right, it is Orisa time. Orisa again, which I mean, I don't mind Orisa here in this situation. You're kind of going back to the point. You're taking a little bit of that map control. Like I don't mind this. Like this is Orisa's good for survivability at the end here. Nice javelin there. Okay, you saw something that I hope that you just saw. The Ana's to the left and will not be there. To your left. To your left. Your May knew this, so this is good. Nice javelin. Diana. 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 Nice. The Moira. Uh-oh. Tracer. The Moira. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Random gold for no reason. Been there. Uh-oh. Now you don't have gold. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And back to spawn. By the way, that gold cooldown didn't seem like it was a lot there, but like that actually ended up being huge because like you could have easily turned that with your ultimate, but instead you actually didn't have the cooldowns you needed. I've done that on Orisa a few times where I just feel like I need to hit a button and then I just use my gold and I'm like, that was not the play. That was just not the play. That ult was very obvious, by the way, which is why it was easier for them to disengage that. Good May ult, though, to maybe win this? Maybe? Huge nano. That nano could be a game winner. All right, never mind. Don't you love really long Junkertown games? Yep. Here we go. A Bash Kart, thanks to the 9 months of the Futures Prize. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. I don't mind D.Va here, but I want you to think about what you're doing as D.Va here. Flying into an Orisa, yeah, no, not the play. So remember, as D.Va, you want to take even the small high ground up here. This is the angles you take. If you try to face tank as D.Va, you're not going to be playing D.Va correctly. I actually just did this in like a Reddit react. Like, you want to be up on, these are the high grounds you take, and you play angles, and you just sit there and you spam them. You can go here, you can end up behind them. Like, that is how you want to play D.Va. You don't face tank and just fly into the Orisa. That's not what you want to do. Your defense matrix has a very large range. The more you understand that range, the easier you'll know, like, oh, if I go here, it'll be, oh, we're on Zarya now. Now, I'm not going to say this will go good or bad, but I will say this much, they have a Bastion. Bastion versus Zarya is a very good matchup for Bastion. But I imagine you went Zarya because they have an Orisa. All right, you're out of bubbles. All right, now what? I have a feeling this is going to somehow work. Nope, never mind. Yep, there you go. Now this goes back to what I said. I know they have an Orisa. It doesn't mean that you have to go Zarya to counter the Orisa, because they have a Bastion. That's where I actually talk about it, where I feel like players will counter swap a little bit too much now. Maybe it works. Maybe the Zarya works out because you can bubble your Genji during Blade now, and you can pop off, and you can get Kitsune, and you can snowball them. But overall, I want you to not hard focus so much. Oh, they have an Orisa, let me go Zarya. You're getting yelled at to swap to Zarya against Orisa Bastion, which if you're being told to swap Zarya against Orisa Bastion, no. Like, yeah, you can go Zarya if you want, but it's not like, that should not be the default. You gotta switch against that comp. But we'll see. I mean, the bubble could be good here, right? The bubbles could be good for Blade, bubble and Blade. You know, the Kitsune, you get more bubbles. Like, it can work. It's just, it's not my favorite. But maybe they switch. Maybe after that failed ultimate, they switch off Bastion, and now your swap looks a little bit better, right? So we'll see. Yeah, there you go. They went Reaper. Okay, it's a little bit better now, right? Does the Zarya even work against Orisa as a counter? I mean, I think people default to, like, Zarya because you can shoot through their javelin spin. But, like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why their team just made the hero swaps they just made, but now your pick is fine. So, hey. I couldn't tell you. Why did they go D.Va? You know, usually I'd kind of give you, like, a... Usually I'd be like, oh, you can play D.Va against Zarya here, but I couldn't tell you. Because you're running the Genji, you're running the Nana Kiriko, that will be unkillable on a dive, and they have a Torb. Now, the Torb would be good to go against, but like my hero suggestion here would be either Winston or Sigma. And people go, Sigma? Against a Zarya? Stop thinking about just a Zarya shooting the beam, or shooting the, like, not the beam, but like using their beam to, like, shoot through the Sigma's eat. Like, the Sigma should not let you get that close to begin with. You're going... It's an overall different type of swap. So, if that makes sense. How's it going, meme? Yeah, you're right. Didn't look at the TikTok counter spreadsheet? I know, that's true. Good bubble. Good bubble. I like your bubble usage. One of them went D.Va to use their ult on the payload. If that's why you're going D.Va, I would not suggest that. You don't know why Sigma is good or okay. I'm sorry, yeah, I can explain in a second. Nice grab. Nice grab. Should win off of that. Nice grab. Good play. Banana, thanks for the 33 months of the British month. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Nice. Good job. I know. What a game. 6-6. And see, you still have a whole time there. So not going to lie, you love going Zarya against a Sigma, which is fair, but it also depends how you play Sigma, right? And that's why I always constantly say that if you do go Sigma against a Zarya, it's going to be about the range that you play. Look at it this way. If you're playing a map like Junkertown and you're allowing a Zarya to get up to your face as Sigma, and at that point, you're probably not playing correct position. Granted, obviously, it can depend on how your teammates are playing, the map controller taking certain stuff. But, like, what I'm trying to say to that one is, like, you're playing the range of Junkertown when you go Sigma against that comp, right? If you're going against a Zarya. You're playing the range. You're preventing damage from happening from the Torb. It's a good map for Sigma. Now, if I say now this is King's Row, maybe a little bit differently, right? You know, maybe like I don't see that as much on third, but like maybe you play third point King's Row Sigma and you play that corner and let your snipers pop off. Like there's variations to where you would play Sigma. I'm not saying that I go Sigma against Zarya every single time, But like if I'm playing a map like Junkertown and I'm playing more of like a long range comp and like I need to be able to prevent like a Torb and a Zarya from making plays, like I can play a really far back Sigma and play for that one team fight and play for like buying time to spam out their cooldowns and then do that. That's what Sigma is, right? A lot of people want to play Sigma like Reinhardt, and that's not how you're going to do that. You're not going to play Sigma like Zarya. You're going to play Sigma like Sigma. But a lot of players will play Sigma and try to match the other tank with that same play style, and that's just not going to work, at least in my opinion. Here we go. Celery's pretty good. Get it up. Wait for it. Playing a bit too aggro with your bubbles. It's working, but just a bit too aggro. Then keep your energy. Ah, there it is. I'll see how it goes. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on this one because you didn't push behind the wall, which is resulting in a good limp, so good job. Hey, you know what, though? Better positioning has led to you getting the limps. You didn't push past the wall, and look what happens. You survive this, and you hold. You see? You finally didn't push past that wall right to your left where that Moira is, and you held right there. See? That's what happens when you don't push past the wall. Question is, can you win this game? We're about to find out. They're still on Orisa. They're on Orisa, Bastion, May. Ooh. Nice bubble. Careful. Okay, so now you're out of bubbles and you're out of position. I want you to, you had the right idea. You got out of there a little bit, but I want you to play corners now. If you keep doing this, you're going to end up using a bubble, and you're... I'm just like, I'm hoping that the overextension that you're doing right now is not going to lead you getting rolled. 8 seconds on bubble now, 7 seconds. I mean, they're not even, like, shooting at you now. Did somebody tell them that don't shoot the Zarya bubbles, even though that would result in the Zarya falling over? Nice grab. No bubbles for you. Nice cleanse, though. That cleanse just saved your team. Nice cleanse. Nice. I mean, honestly, like, you made it work, so I'm not gonna overanalyze that too much. I think you made Zarya work. I think like what really helped was your positioning got a lot better. I do think that. I don't know if the call out by their team was like, oh, don't shoot the Zarya bubbles, etc. Because, like, I'm going to be honest with you. At any point, you could have fallen over. You had 8-second cooldown standing in the middle of the open, and they just wouldn't shoot at you. So, but yeah, I would say for you personally, like, your position just kind of led to you. You made it work, but if a team just realized that you were using your bubbles like you were, you would fall over. So I would say just be careful of overusing your bubbles like you were. Overall, like, I think your biggest issue on tank was your positioning. I think just it goes to like play corners. And you're going to hear me say play corners a lot in these reviews, but I think until they make adjustments to tank, playing corners will be your best friend. It will allow for you to get healed up more. It will allow for you to minimize the damage you're taking. It will make you use your cooldowns less like aggressively because you can survive some of the burst damage you're getting. But at the same time, hey, it worked out. Like, I mean, what else can I say? Like, it worked. It was a good game to watch. A nice long Junkertown. Obviously, it would have been, you know, I think you need to clean up a little bit on your position and your cooldown usage. I think you spam that stuff too much. Saw it on Orisa. Saw it on Zarya. Heck, we saw it on D.Va at times. Like, it just, you know, your cooldowns can be very important. Use them efficiently. Don't just use them to use them. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. Leave a comment. All of that helps. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. You'll see my Discord. That's where you do that. We also record these live on stream. You see below the webcam. That's the Twitch chat. We have a lot of fun here, so stop by if you haven't. That being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.